Plot: Deadpool, 2016. Written by 20th Century Fox. This is the origin story of former Special Forces operative turned mercenary Wade Wilson, who after being subjected to a rogue experiment that leaves him with accelerated healing powers, adopts the alter ego Deadpool. Armed with his new abilities and a dark, twisted sense of humor, Deadpool hunts down the man who nearly destroyed his life. Voiceover off.
When you're blind and watching movies, what will you find? A blind superhero whose superpowers are acting like he's not blind. A sighted actor over dramatically touching people's faces. Or maybe the whole joke is that they're bumping into different places. A spectacular, macular generation. Tunnel vision to your television. And do they offer this movie with audio descriptions? They're movie buffs who know their stuff. You'll be thoroughly entertained. Join Sky and Melissa throughout film history and Citizen White Cane.
Hello,
Hi.
and welcome to Citizen White Cane, where two blind people know they're in a podcast but try to figure out if they're represented in a movie. My name is Sky McLeod,
I'm Melissa Bukta.
and we're talking about Deadpool today. Very exciting.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, why not talk about something that's super fun at the end of a super challenging year?
Or at the beginning of a new one, really.
That's true.
Yes.
Yes, at the beginning of a new one. So happy New Year's Day to us.
Yeah, happy 2021, and
Woo-hoo.
and we're enjoying Deadpool this week. We've both seen the movie before, so we're coming at it from a rewatch. Have you seen it? Was this your second time watching it, or have you seen it more than twice now?
Probably my third. No, actually, no. This would be my second time because I actually didn't see Deadpool in theaters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for the first time. I didn't see it in theaters. I don't know why. I ended up just waiting, and it was the first thing I'd ever rented, my first and last thing I ever rented from Redbox.
Oh, interesting.
Because I didn't understand how Redbox worked, so I rented it and kept the DVD because I was just like, I can return this whenever. It's like Netflix. Turns out Redbox isn't like Netflix, and I got charged like $25 after a week, and I was like, what the hell? So I own Deadpool now.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh. It makes it easy to watch it now, even though it's also on Hulu.
Yeah. So that's cool. I don't know. I'm not mad about it. I feel like that's the most Deadpool way to own a copy of that movie. So
yeah.
Okay, sure. But yeah, so this would be my my second watch. So yeah, it was a rewatch.
How was it the second time around rewatching it?
I had forgotten definitely had not forgotten how violent it was. I had forgotten how funny it was, actually. I knew it was going to be funny, but right. I found myself just cackling along the whole time, basically. And I had forgotten how, I don't want to say fun isn't the right word, because it's not, I don't necessarily think violence is fun, but right. Oh, God, is it entertaining? I had forgotten how brutal Wade's treatment at the mutant facility was. That was actually really hard to watch.
It's really triggering. Like, yeah. What I remember from the movie, it was like I don't fully click into the humor of the movie. I don't know why.
Sure.
Like there's some weird thing that I'm missing, I think, that I'm sort of like don't fully understand it, and then I'm like, oh, this is really traumatizing, triggering, and then it kind of goes back to the the first half. It's weird, but I'm still trying. Honestly, after watching it 2 times, I'm still really trying to figure out what I think about it. So I'm gonna like refer to you to help me understand Deadpool. So I'm sorry to like just crown you the one who understands from the beginning here, but
That's okay.
yeah.
Oh God, I cannot say that I am among my friends the Deadpool expert, but
Okay.
I've gotten to know the character better having seen this movie and seen the second movie and kind of sort of I've read a little bit of Deadpool comics because I have friends who are huge Deadpool fans. So
Okay.
I've been around the character now for quite some time.
Is there like a typical Deadpool like fan? Is there like a is that an archetypical person?
It's funny because honestly, no. I've found Deadpool fans that they literally come in all shapes and sizes. I mean, yeah, there's the dudes, who are Deadpool fans who I can't speak for them, but honestly though, I've come across tons of ladies who are Deadpool fans as well.
Yeah.
And I've found loads of the people that you meet at Comic-Con who are dressed as Deadpool. They're often girls. There's our fair share of dudes who are dressed as him too, but a lot of ladies dress up as Deadpool.
Interesting. Well, I mean, Deadpool's he's a superhero, but he knows he's in a movie, and he talks a lot about sex. What are the other Deadpool traits?
Well, okay, so Deadpool knows he's in a comic book.
Or comic book movie. Yeah.
In this case, a movie, but yeah. But most of his comics are he's in a comic book. He's doing his comic book thing, and he's also talking to you, the reader, who's reading the comic book at the time.
Right, fourth wall jokes.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the Deadpool comics I've read don't involve any sex or any like sexual humor.
Oh, interesting. Why is?
Yeah, that's not his whole. That's not all of his like shtick. And a lot of the Deadpool memes that go around are not necessarily sexual.
Interesting, because I feel like that's such a big part of his character in the movie, in at least Deadpool 1, the movie that we watched. Like, it does feel kind of important in my head to his character.
I mean, it's interesting. I think you have to. They kind of sort of ramped everything up, I would say, because it's oh my God, it's the first superhero movie that's rated R, and it's Deadpool, and it's got to be like everything has got to be crazy and over the top and everything. And
I see.
Yeah, so it's hard to separate like what is the character of Deadpool versus what was added or ramped up for the movie.
Right. That's interesting. It's the first superhero movie that was rated R.
I believe it was. It was either the first superhero. Well, actually, I take that back because Kick-Ass came out and it's rated R and it's technically a superhero movie.
Yeah, but we should all forget Kick-Ass. I hate that movie.
God,
sorry.
We should all forget everything Kick-Ass. That was a weird. I was a huge Kick-Ass fan for a while. That was a weird road that I traveled. Anyway, it was very odd. So I believe this is the first superhero movie that was rated R to actually make bank, like to make a lot of money.
Okay, so but that wouldn't, I mean, necessarily be known when they were making the movie, though, because you don't know how much it's going to make.
Right, they didn't know. I mean, all they knew, and no one wanted to make a Deadpool movie because nobody wanted to make an R-rated movie. The reason why all these superhero movies are PG-13 is because that gets butts in seats. Because if you make an R movie, you are restricted, and then only 17-year-olds can see it, or 17 above,
or people with their parents can see it. Or like an adult of some kind.
Yeah. Or if you just,
or if you buy tickets online,
Sure, yeah.
Certain places, you can kind of get away with it. So, there are ways, but yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure there were plenty of kids who's stuck into this movie.
Yeah,
so.
Why not?
Because it's never
Fuck
not
the
going to be.
MPAA is what I think.
Right, exactly.
But
Amen.
I did Google is what first R-rated superhero movie, and I got multiple articles that said Deadpool is not the first R-rated superhero movie, even though I did not put Deadpool in the search. So apparently it is a common misconception, but I imagine probably one of the first Marvel gang, because you know, I don't think any of the X-Men or Avenger related movies or anything like that was rated R, so probably the first Marvel one.
Right, and we get the first rated R Wolverine movie until Logan, which was way after Deadpool happened.
Oh, okay.
Logan is great.
If
you haven't seen it, it's Logan's a hard watch, but it's a great movie.
I've heard it's tiring as a movie. I don't know.
Tiring is a really good way to describe it, because I saw it in the theaters and it's a great movie. It's fantastic, but it's a lot. You've been through something. You know, you've been through it after you watch that movie.
Yeah, I do struggle with that, because it's like there's like this whole like, oh, superhero movies is being light fare, you know, that's kind of just silly and you know, over the top, and and then I'm kind of like, I don't know. But then sometimes when they get too gritty, I'm just like, is this any better? I don't know.
No, see, and that's the balance, though. I mean, you've got this whole like not a war, but like arms race between, you know, DC and Marvel, and they're trying to figure. DC is, we're going to be all dark, all gritty, all the time, and Marvel is like, we're going to be just right, exactly, and we're just going to be like, Marvel's like, we're just going to be fun and funny, and we're not going to take this too seriously, because you're watching guys and gals in freaking spandex and capes running around, fighting crime and punching each other to death. It's not supposed to be serious. It's hard to pick a side for me, honestly. Yeah. I think Wonder Woman, the first Wonder Woman, is a really good example of, you can have a superhero movie that is not perfect. Lord, is it not perfect? But it can also say something. You can have a superhero movie that means something.
Yeah,
I love the first Wonder Woman. I think it's phenomenal.
Women can also have invisible planes and
the
Amazon alien warriors.
Well, she's not an alien. But,
she's not an alien?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She's not an alien. Oh. No, anyway.
There's Superman's an alien, so I just thought that was
Superman's an alien.
A thing.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm going from the dumb perspective.
No, it's okay.
Here.
It's okay. But like Wonder Woman, I think Wonder Woman has something to say about love and humanity, and wanting to help people and be selfless. And there and again, it's really hard, because I don't necessarily think every superhero movie has to mean something or be meaningful. I mean, I think Deadpool's fun because he's a snarky asshole and he doesn't take anything seriously.
Yeah, it's kind of, it's true. I guess for me, I'm like, superheroes are a very problematic idea, and so I don't really like the cavalierness of it, but then when you watch the grittier stuff, you're just like, oh, this isn't, like, it just feels also just exhausting, and you're like, I'd rather just watch a different thing altogether. Like, I feel like the HBO Watchmen, like, that's one of the few superhero things where it felt like it struck the right balance of, like, problematic, like, not that it is problematic, but like that it was showing how problematic superheroes are, while also having the, you know, kind of balancing that with some of the wacky or weirder things about superheroes. And like, and you know, the original Watchmen, I think, was trying to do that somewhat, but I thought, I just thought that the HBO series was probably the thing that I felt the most like worked of the, like, this recent, like, you know, media of like superheroes that we've had in, you know, the last 15 years or whatever.
Right. Well, yeah, and it works because the creator of the show went in with like a definite, this is what I'm using superheroes, but this is what the show is actually about.
Right.
The superheroes are just an analog for race relations and terror and domestic terrorism, and that's what I actually want to talk about. And I think yeah, I think that absolutely works. And I mean, Watchmen in general was Alan Moore, he wrote it, was his answer to the superhero complex in general.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or was his take on it, basically. And
right.
Fun fact, I actually just learned this a little while ago. So when Alan Moore published Watchmen through DC, neither party thought that the story was going to go anywhere. So DC said that once interest died down in Watchmen, maybe after about a year or whatever, and they stopped publishing the book, Moore would retain all the rights and everything to his characters.
Oh, wow.
So here's the thing. People ate that shit up. Like, Watchmen is one of the classic graphic novels. It
got away from him?
Basically, the contract said that after DC stopped publishing it. So DC has never actually stopped publishing Watchmen.
Classic.
They keep publishing it. So Alan Moore will never get the rights back
oh my gosh.
to his own characters. Yeah.
Wow. Does he
Watchmen,
get paid for like the HBO series? Isn't he mad about it?
I don't know. That I can't tell you. I have no idea. Yeah, I just thought that was a very fun and sad fact. Yeah, and obviously DC has learned nothing from the story of Watchmen, because now they're actually trying to, in this new DC Rebirth, they're trying to integrate the Watchmen characters into the DC universe. And
oh my god!
I haven't read any of it, but it's not. From what I've heard, it's not good.
Oh my gosh! Wow, that's so like tone deaf. That's really terrible and funny.
Extremely, yeah. No, it's kind of fun to just watch this whole weird story arc go down in flames, because I'm like, how this isn't. No. These characters are not. These are there. They're their own separate thing, and they should just be left alone.
Yeah, it's like the spoof of characters are just mixed in with the like sincere ones. Almost.
Yeah,
but like even weirder than that.
Mm-hmm. And these characters were not. Alan Moore didn't create these characters to be heroes,
right? Yeah.
So. Or to be people that you would that you would look up to, or have a poster of on your wall, or whatever. I mean,
they're not
unfortunately
likable,
right? I mean, the first time I read Watchmen, I thought Rorschach was awesome. He's this like detective character, but he's also a complete psychopath. I mean, there's nothing you should like about Rorschach. There's nothing you should admire about Rorschach. And it finally took like watching the movie and rereading the comic to finally figure out, this character is insane. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, I get it now. Thanks.
Yeah, it's but it's so hard because like I mean superheroes are just there is a problematicness to them. I mean, like, they're basically like vigilante police officers, which that's not a good. No one wants that. That's bad.
Right.
Like, police officers are bad enough.
I mean, if you think about a character like Batman, Batman's a cool character. I grew up on Batman. I skew very heavily towards the DC universe. So I grew up on Batman and that sort of thing. And he's Batman. He's awesome. And now he's been, memed to death and everything. And now I kind of I can still look at Batman and laugh.
Yeah.
Because he's a dude who dresses up in a costume to go out every night and like punch the crap out of criminals. He hasn't worked through the trauma of his parents
PTSD,
dying.
Yeah.
Major PTSD. This is how he's working through the trauma, and it's really not that healthy. He can't have a physical relationship with somebody.
Right, and he's has an alter ego, so he's lying to everyone in his life, basically.
Right, exactly, and only a few people know about it. Yeah. All of that being said, I love Batman. I still watch the DC animated movies, which are leagues better than any of the live action stuff that they're putting out.
Yeah.
Well, maybe except for the first Wonder Woman. But yeah, no, if you really want to watch some really great, amazing DC content, any of their animated stuff, it's fantastic. It's so great. It's so funny how they can't make a single, except for Wonder Woman and Aquaman and Shazam, how they can't make a single good movie when like all of this animated stuff is sitting right there.
Yeah.
It's like either make more of those and give them the budget to be big budget animated theater releases, or just take those stories and make them live action because they're great.
But it's fucking DC. Though the movie we're watching now is not DC.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah,
no, it's okay.
Way keeping us on track. From Deadpool.
No, but it's it's hard to. I guess it's kind of our window into all the superhero movies, like Daredevil was as well. But right. Like Deadpool is part of the X-Men cinematic universe, right? He's part of the newer X-Men.
Kind of, sort of, maybe. Right? Yeah, he's like X-Men adjacent.
yeah, but then like because the X-Men and the Avengers, they exist within two different cinematic universes, right?
Yes, the Marvel cinematic universe right now doesn't necessarily include the X-Men.
Yeah, there's like two different cinematic universes. One is X-Men, one is like the
MCU.
Rest. Yeah.
Yeah. And the X-Men have two different timelines too.
Right. Which
you
is
have
super confusing.
The original cast, and the new cast. So it's
except for this is like a weird portal because doesn't he Deadpool, who knows he's in a movie, doesn't he talk about which X-Men cinematic universe he exists in, or questions
Colossus.
it?
Yeah, Colossus says, we're going to take you to the professor, and Deadpool's like, McAvoy or Stewart. So, yeah.
So he's throwing Deadpool. The whole thing to the wind. If you want to trace a cinematic universe within the X-Men, he's just destroying it. he's technically in our world.
Yes. Well, and then when he's going to be, experimented upon at the facility, he says, don't make the super suit green and don't make it animated.
Yeah.
In reference to, so Ryan Reynolds is one of the few actors that has been both in the DC universe and the Marvel universe.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Because he was Green Lantern.
Oh, okay. So
Green Lantern was a truly awful movie. I mean, Ryan Reynolds was the best part of the movie. But he's actually a really great Hal Jordan, but the movie was just it bites. It's not good. It's really bad.
I think
it looks cool, but it's really bad.
I feel like Ryan Reynolds did a decent job of like being Deadpool. I don't fully understand like the writing. Like there's a certain kind of like. Know what it is, like cheekiness that I'm like I don't really vibe with. Like I don't know, I feel bad like because it feels close enough to things I like that I also feel like I'm shitting on something that's like very close to things I like, so I'm like, where am I even drawing this line? But it's a little, I mean, I don't know,
it's humor. I mean, it's a different style of humor. It might not be your style of humor. I cannot it's really hard for me to not associate Deadpool with Ryan Reynolds now, because he is Deadpool. Like he embodies that character so well, and a lot of his performance is vocal because he's under the mask and everything.
It is a very vocal performance. Like I forget what he looks like because it's real. I mean, he's under the mask a lot of the movie, and like it's not about the way he looks. It's almost weird when we see him because it's such a vocal performance.
Well, and for me, for someone who's known about the character, in the comics and the and animated stuff, I just associate him with the red suit and the way he looks. That's just.
Yeah.
So that's just the way he looks. I almost forget that there's a person under there.
Right. Or that that's not his skin entirely. It's just the mask. Yeah. But
exactly. Yeah.
He wore a mask before. We all wore a mask. Very COVID safe. Deadpool.
Yeah. Very, yes. Deadpool's on it.
Yeah, though I don't know if he could, because his thing is he can't die at this point. He's like technically invincible because of all these experiments.
Right.
So, I mean, if he got COVID, he would probably survive. But
he'd be fine. He'd be fine because his body is technically. So it's so weird. Like his body is, so he still has cancer technically.
Okay.
But his healing factor has been turned up to such a degree that his body is making cancer cells and killing them at the same time.
Very confusing. Very hard to wrap your head around.
Right. Yes. So he has cancer, but he's being cured at the same time.
Right. So, I mean, it's kind of like any chronic condition that has like effective treatment, except for he can grow back his hand. That's the difference.
Right. And, he can grow back any part of his body.
Right. We just see the hand being completely grown back. Like his hand is completely cut off and then it grows back.
In the second movie, it's his head.
Oh my gosh.
Actually. Yeah. You really should watch the second one. I'm so sorry. I know. I'm so sorry. Well, that's not a major spoiler. Yeah, he loses his head in the second movie. Blind Al is back in the second movie.
I thought you said that she wasn't.
Did I? I'm so sorry. She has that one scene. She has even less to do in the second movie.
Well, it'll be exciting for the next when we come back to Deadpool for the second movie.
Yeah, I feel like she had even less to do. Well, and my God, so does Vanessa actually, but I'm getting way ahead of myself. Yeah. So,
do you want to talk about her?
Let's talk about Vanessa. What did you think about?
I meant Blind Al, but yes,
Blind Al. Oh my God, yes. I'm going to talk. Well, we will definitely talk about Blind Al too.
That is the reason for the podcast. Vanessa, what I like that, like, it kind of made me think about Always, because in the movie, his face gets all fucked up, and so he just fucking runs away from his, like, girlfriend that he's in love with, or fiance, I think.
Right. Right.
And just, like, doesn't contact her, and, like, I like that she's, like, rightfully fucking pissed, and, like, what the hell, why are you doing this? Like, why did you do that? That was such a stupid move, dude. And, like, that felt better to me than, like, when in Always, where sort of a similar thing happens. I mean, yeah, it's like his face gets all fucked up, and then he just like runs away and never comes back, whereas like in this, like and she's like, oh, if only he was there, and like is pining after him, whereas Vanessa was like, fuck you, and like, I don't give a fuck about your face, but like, don't fucking disappear on me, you asshole.
Exactly. And I like the fact that Vanessa is a very capable person. She's not a
isn't she a sex worker too?
Yes, she starts out
or she continues.
She also works in a strip club, so yeah, she continues. Yeah, and that's not looked down upon. That it's completely normal. That's just what she does.
Yeah, there's like occasional weird things where you're like, come on, just like the way sex work is treated, or like, because it's mostly in jest, but I'm like, this is already enough of a, prejudice people have. It's not as funny to make jokes about when it's like not super transformative from the prejudices people already have. So I was like, oh, okay. But I do like that she is a sex worker, and that like that's not like something that's like that, she's not sidelined for the most part because of that, even though you will have the occasional thing that's kind of questionable about the way the movie treats the sex work, and like kind of seeing it as like, oh well, this is a bad situation for her to be in or something, when it's like, I don't know, she's getting paid, like, and I think she seems fine.
Well, and she's also damseled, but she rescues herself.
Yeah. I
mean, yes, she needs Deadpool there to help, make sure so she doesn't die or whatever. But she's not your run-of-the-mill damsel in distress. She's not just going to stand there and scream for Wade to come and help her. She's going to figure it out.
Yeah, it's almost like I kind of would rather watch a movie about her. It would, like, I'd rather the roles be reversed. If she was the main character and Deadpool was the romantic interest, I feel like that would be I would enjoy that more Like, not that I
no.
hate Deadpool, but like I would just think that
Right.
would be a more fun movie to watch. Like, just because she's, I feel like, a stronger character than Deadpool is. Deadpool's just, I don't fully understand. It's really a lack of understanding for me because he knows he's in a movie, and I'm very confused by any character that knows they're in a movie.
But he knows he's in a movie, right? But he also knows that he's here to entertain us, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes it better for you, but yeah.
So okay, but so if he's here to entertain us, then it gives him motivation to do things, or like.
Yeah, I'd say.
Yeah.
I mean, because he's always talking to us. I mean, honestly, my favorite part about the first one is this action sequence that at the beginning with and the last bit of it with the 12 bullets.
Yeah, he has 12 bullets, and so he's counting down the bullets. That's okay. That's a cute bit. I think that's fine because it's like. It's kind of like in Lord of the Rings where they're like how many orcs they kill.
Yes.
It's like it has that kind of vibe of just being kind of cute and cheeky in a way that I can handle, but that like at least exists within the world where he's narrating it, but that's not to the point where he's just like talking to us, and that the whole thing is that he's in a movie and that there's not really anything specific. Like, it seems like the jokes are kind of just entirely he's in a movie and he knows about it. Like, they don't always add to, like, the progression of the plot. I mean, they sort of do, but they're more like the bullets is like actually something's happening and it shows a window into him as a character. And, like, you could have that whole scene and you could have him completely not know he's in a movie at all. Because it's just him having a certain amount of bullets and counting them. And that could be, if you did voiceover of his internal dialogue, he doesn't need to know he's in a movie for that to work. You know, that's just a thing that you can do without a character breaking the fourth wall.
Right. It's unfortunately this is his shtick. This is his thing.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna bring Deadpool from the comics to the movies to live action, you kind of have to do this.
Yeah. No, it's true.
It kind of has to happen this way. There's a really cute episode. Oh, I can't remember which Spider-Man series it was, but Sambit, my friend, showed it to me because he loves Spider-Man. And there's this really cute episode where Spider-Man and Deadpool get together. And they have to like solve a crime or whatever. But Deadpool is crazy and zany and goofy, and he's always, he's breaking the fourth wall, or he's doing, goofy things that kind of sort of get on Spider-Man's nerves. It was just really funny. But this was way before he was voiced by Ryan Reynolds, I think. Yeah. Or performed by Ryan Reynolds. So.
Yeah.
But even then, he's still cheeky. I mean, granted, this is a children's cartoon, so it's not like you can go very far, but he's the same.
He's not talking about sex as much, probably.
No, not at all. No. Although, one of my favorite ever panels of Deadpool is him in a French maid's outfit. I think it's hilarious. It's like this sexy French maid outfit, but he's wearing his super suit, underneath it.
Oh my, that's impractical.
I know, it's fantastic. He's Deadpool.
Is Deadpool a queer character?
Yes, he's bi.
That's what I thought. But is he in the comics, or is that just because, is that in the movie? Okay. Does he have ever have male love interests?
Now that I do not know for sure because I haven't read enough Deadpool comics, but. Yeah, I can tell you that he's bi. Ooh, there was one where he, as a joke, he performed in Marvel's version of Hamilton. Which was really funny. At Hamilton.
Oh, as Hamilton.
It was kind of a throwaway gag, but it was really funny. Yeah.
Hamilton, I don't think is a queer character.
Right? No. I mean,
at least not that we know of.
There's been some debate, but no, I'm pretty sure
most historical people that we don't really have that much insight into their sexuality, other than if they were married to someone or whatever. People could speculate, but there's not really a lot of certainty there.
Right, but Deadpool is bi and he loves unicorns.
He loves unicorns. Is that in the movie?
He loves unicorns. There's a few nods to it in the movie that I noticed this time around. I was like, oh yeah, because he loves unicorns. When Vanessa is knocked out unconscious,
Oh yeah.
There's cartoon unicorns that pop up, and that's a little bit of an homage to that. In the end credits, he's the little cartoon Deadpool is riding a unicorn. It's because Deadpool is like obsessed with unicorns. Actually, I got my friend this really cool Deadpool shirt, and it's him charging in on this like pink, fluffy, cutesy little unicorn. And I think in one hand he's got a machine gun, and in the other hand he has a chimichanga, because that's also his thing, chimichangas.
He's got a whole bunch of things.
Yeah. In fact, the menu of the DVD is just it's a camera pointed at a microwave with a chimichanga warming up in it.
Yep, there you go.
That's about right. Oh, and then I got the same friend. I get her a lot of Deadpool themed gifts. I got the same friend a really pretty picture that someone had painted, and it's Deadpool, but he's painted as a canonized saint. And there's just all of these like creatures and little internet memes around him. And he's holding up his hands, and there's little chimichangas with wings flying in the background. And the picture is titled Deadpool, patron saint of the internet.
Well, I guess that makes sense.
I mean, because like you could insert this character anywhere. I think that's kind of something. That's one of the really cool things about this character is the possibilities are endless. And there was a group at Emerald City Comic Con, beautiful group of cosplayers who were dressed up in brilliant Lord of the Rings cosplay. I mean, they looked awesome.
Nice.
And then this freaking chick who was dressed up as Deadpool. They're trying to take this like epic, fellowship picture, and this chick waltzes in and like lays down in that pose that Ryan Reynolds is in, that like laying on his side, like all sensual like or whatever. So I have pictures of these amazing Lord of the Rings cosplayers and Deadpool.
I mean, that's a great combo. I feel like that's totally the correct thing to do.
Yeah.
I feel like I think everyone did the right thing in that scenario.
I think so too.
Yeah, so I feel like we should talk about Blind Al, because we really haven't at all.
Oh my god, yes. We should probably talk about Blind Al.
So Deadpool has, in the second part, after he just disappears from Vanessa's actual like fiance, and after he's been like tortured and all this stuff, we have Blind Al, who's his new roommate, and I actually clipped out the first scene that she is in, if we want to start by playing that.
Yeah, play that clip.
Cool, and then we can talk about it.
How's that cooling coming along? IKEA doesn't assemble itself,
You're telling me. I don't mind the Cunin. It's an improvement on the Herdal.
Please. Anything's an improvement over the Herdal. I'd have taken an Emnus or a Trestle over the Herdal. Oh, no, I didn't get excited till I saw the cooling.
Screw, please.
Here? Now? Just kidding. I know it's been decades.
You'd be surprised.
I'm pretty grossed out.
Ta? Duh. I wish I never heard of Craigslist.
And I quote, looking for roommate blind to life's imperfections, must be good with hands, or would you rather I build the IKEA and you pay rent?
Why such a douche this morning?
That is the introduction. It's like the first scene with Blind Al that we made her.
Yeah, I mean, technically, you see her very briefly in the laundromat.
Yeah,
because
that's true.
Wade is trying to clean blood out of his suit, and she's like, "Oh yeah, lemon."
She
And
knows
something
that clean
else.
blood. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, do we ever find out why
God.
she knows that?
No. I think the joke is that Blind Al has a past, and we don't know what it is. I love her though. She's they're perfect roommates together, because he's sarcastic as hell, and she just takes it and throws it right back at him.
I do like that she's very snarky, and that she's also pretty, like, I don't know, she's like a blind character that isn't very, like, well, woe is me, definitely not. Like, that she's just kind of like, yeah, I'm blind. Like, I love her comfort level of being blind, but like just like and her like snarkiness, and not putting up with Deadpool shit for the most part. So she's
right.
kinda
I mean, Blind Al has seen some shit, or
not seen
maybe
some
she
shit.
hasn't actually. Not maybe she's not seen some shit. We don't know, but we do know there's some shit involved.
She's definitely heard some stuff in her life. But okay, so her purpose as a character.
That's what I wanted to talk about, because watching it again, I remembered. Oh yeah, so I don't know if I'd necessarily call this a trope, but I do remember in the second. No, I think it was the first one, because I've never seen the second 20th Century Fox Fantastic Four, because I don't care. But in the first one, the Thing, Michael Chiklis's character, he has a girlfriend who's blind, and the whole thing is like, oh yeah, I mean, we could. She's in even less scenes than Blind Al is, but hey, I like where we're going with this. But the whole metaphor is like, oh, I don't care what you look like or whatever, because I'm blind and I can see past all of that.
Right,
so,
it's like Beastly, The Man Who Laughs, like all these different things.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a trope. It's been in a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Hearing you say those, or you're reminding me of those titles that we've watched. Yeah, that would mean it would be a trope at this point.
Yeah, I think we could officially make it a trope. It's very similar to Beastly, because like it's just it's another blind roommate to someone whose face is all fucked up and who's like weirdly like freaking out about it. I mean, I guess I don't know, maybe it's not weird, but it's like just freaking out about it. That I mean, like, how do we just exist for like people who've recently had something happen to their face, which like I don't want to like be like to like, because it is obviously also a disability and like something that can be really like difficult, that's equally can be really socially isolating and not good, like just in the way we treat people who have anything that's considered abnormal in the way their face looks. But like it just feels like there's like a factory of blind people, at least when they're a fictional character, that they just hand you one of us to be your roommate or girlfriend or whatever.
Yeah, we're here to teach you poor, sad, disfigured or newly disabled people how to like live again, because look at us, you can have a fulfilling life because we're proof of that. Yeah,
and we also can't see, so we can prove to you that it's not a big deal.
We won't judge you.
Right, exactly. Which, I mean, like, that's maybe they should have like, little big brother, little brother, what are those things called where they match people up of different ages? Like they match someone up who's like recently had some like, something happen to their like disfiguring in their face, and then you match them up with a blind person. Like, you guys have disabilities that like are puzzle pieces. This is
why not? Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
Why not?
I mean, it's like it's definitely ridiculous and a trope. It's very funny. I mean, like, I guess there are worse tropes. Like, it's just kind of, it's not like the same level of problematic as other things, but it's kind of just silly, I think. Like, it's not really how the world works.
Yeah, but I think in Deadpool, I don't think this trope is necessarily turned on its head. But Blind Al don't give a shit. Like, he's there because he pays rent. Yeah, and and to sort of complement each other in this really weird way. But she is definitely not there to turn his life around.
No, but I think like also at least of the ones we've watched, I wish we got more of the characters. Like, I feel like Beastly, that was one of our less developed, like, blind characters. Like, we just really had very little insight to Neil Patrick Harris's character in that. It was not, the movie was not about him. And, like, even in The Man Who Laughs, we had a lot more of, what was her name? It was, like, Dee or something. No, it was...
Oh, Lord.
Dia or something.
something.
Yeah, so whatever her name was, like she was, even though she was in a lot of the movie, we really had very little sense of her as a person. Like, so I feel like we get like very small windows into these characters, but they're not, they're never like fleshed out, and and it's always the main character that's more fleshed out, and then the blind character is doesn't really go above plot device, and I think that's kind of annoying. Like, I wish there was at least some more like, I mean, I guess because the trope is just like you don't really have to do anything with it. You can just be like, oh hey, look, someone who can't see, and then this person has something that that makes them socially isolated because it's a disfigurement of some kind. So like that there you go, makes sense. Like, we don't have to do anything with it. It just feels like kind of a cheap reason for a blind. It's like a very specific reason where they're like, yeah, blind character, that's cool, and then they don't really have to make a real blind character, as long as they're just like, yeah, their roommate's blind, we'll have a couple scenes with them. We're done.
right, yeah. And I mean, the scriptwriter, the writers make a choice. I mean, it's like I want the day to come where someone writes a character and it's just like, oh yeah, and they're blind, but there's no like reason. They just happen to be a blind character who is living, who is in this situation.
Yeah.
But when you make a choice for a character to be blind, you're still making that choice. So I'm still asking myself, okay, but why is this character blind? What's the point?
Right. Which, like, yeah, I mean, that is true. That I think you could definitely do. I think like just adding a blind character that doesn't feel blind because they're basically acting normally as a sighted character would be lame, but like I don't think you can really do that, because that, like, everyone would be like, what, this character's blind, but who knows. I mean, like, but yeah, it would be nice to have like more blind characters that were just people in a story. The story didn't have to revolve around their blindness, but
right. And if you're asking like why is Blind Al blind, well, I mean, Deadpool. She's blind because Deadpool needed a place to stay and got along with her at the laundromat and saw the ad on Craigslist and decided to with her.
Right.
And, and she just happens to be blind, so she won't be terrified by my face. But I would hope it would be because they got along, better than most.
Right. But that's the thing, though, is it's like, but that doesn't really make narrative sense. Like, it's like the narrative has created a scenario where it's like, yeah, you just put a blind character, plug in blind character, and then you don't, and then the fact it's really that she's just so underdeveloped is why we don't have really a sense of why he picked. It's not that it's not that we have a window into how they became friends and why it really doesn't have anything to do. Like, it's just literally they just didn't develop her very well, so we can kind of just say whatever we want about their relationship, kind of.
Right, but at least she's underdeveloped because she's a tiny part of the movie, but she's not the butt of the joke.
No, she's definitely not. I like that.
Right, like she's a person. She's a human being. Even though you only see her for 3 or 4 scenes, she makes an impact. I mean, she has personality.
Yeah, she's doesn't take shit. She's snarky, and she like, yeah, I mean, she's not subservient. She has some sort of personal life. I mean, like in the clip we played, he talks about her like not having sex in a while, and she's like, you'd be surprised or something, like so I don't know, I guess she's not desexualized, but then he says that's disgusting, so then you're like, I don't know. I mean, is it because? But then it's like, is it because she's old? Is it because she's black? Or is it because she's blind? It's really hard to say which one it is.
I would guess.
Old?
Because she's making an old joke.
Yeah,
because she's so old. But I'm like, okay, well, all right. But I mean, we know that she. I love that stupid little IKEA bit that runs throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, that's a cute. I think it's
that makes me happy. Yeah.
Yeah, that she can't put together IKEA thing, which is fair. It's a legit blind person.
Have you? Those are nightmares. when I got mine, because when I first moved here, I was lucky enough to like have a little bit of money to go to IKEA to furnish my studio. So I went there, and they will deliver it for you. And not only will they deliver it, they'll put it together, and it costs an extra like $80. But I was like, screw it.
Disability tax.
No way.
It's a disability tax.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
it sucks.
But I'm like, there's no way I'm putting this together myself. Yeah, they're a nightmare, but they look cool when they're done.
They're sometimes
my first bed
functional.
was an IKEA bed.
Yeah, I mean, I like putting together IKEA furniture. I get really pissed that they're different sizes of screws are really hard to tell the difference for, but yeah, it's easier for me to put together IKEA furniture than if I have to read how to put something together, then I basically can't. The diagrams are really helpful. So I'm lucky that I have a kind of blindness where IKEA furniture is actually easier to put together. But it's definitely it could definitely, you could run into problems regardless. But I do have like a missing screw in my bed, and it's just been that way for a very long time. Everything's always falling apart, but it's part of disability. Kind of like the blind owl has a bit of that, like, whatever, like, like the world is imperfect, and she trips over the Roomba. So relatable.
Yes. Oh my God. And they zoom in on the fact that like her Roomba has this little like dancing hula girl on the top of it, and I'm like, okay, that's funny that she would do that, but also, is that so she can hear it better, even though it's making noise? I don't know.
Yeah, as you said that, I thought that, but then I also was like, yeah, but it makes so much noise. Right. You know where it is. Like, that's
so maybe Deadpool put it there because he thought it was funny. I don't know.
Yeah, that could be it. But yeah, Roombas are not ideal for blind people.
Those things freak me out, honestly.
They're very scary.
I mean,
though I guess if you
really
like
weird.
Run away from them and you turn it on, then it is good because you don't have to like vacuum and see where you're vacuuming. So in that way, it's good.
I suppose so.
So it can be accessible in one way, but they are terrifying. So I don't like to be in the same room as them because they scare me.
Exactly. Yeah, they do. It's just this weird sentient thing moving across the floor. No, thank you.
Very creepy. Yeah,
they're really creepy.
They're unpredictable. Yes. They just no room.
What if it decides one day that it wants to kill your family, or I don't know, not vacuum the rug or something? Yeah.
So boo Roombas.
Boo Roombas.
That's our stance. And sometimes boo IKEA, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But also sometimes not.
They make some pretty good furniture.
Yeah, it's but that's what having a blind roommate's like, I guess. I mean, it's not that dissimilar from actually having a blind roommate, being one myself. But yeah, it is okay. So Deadpool said something about her being in love with him. Is she in love with him? Didn't seem like it to me.
No. I think that was a joke. Yeah, no. Pretty sure she's definitely not in love with him.
Yeah, he's just that full of himself, I guess.
I think he's just trying to get her goat.
But he says it in a voiceover, so it's not really to get a rise out of her when it's him. Or I don't even know if it's in a voiceover. He says it, I think, to us, or then it's in a voiceover. But he doesn't say it to her directly.
Oh, right. Because he said, because he says it to the audience.
Yeah.
No, it's still a joke. Because we know that A, she's not in love with him, and B, he still has the hots for Vanessa. So,
well, yeah, he doesn't say that he's in love with her, but he says she's in love with him. Mm-hmm. Which I don't know. I don't want
He is messing with us. No,
I guess so. But then if he's such an unreliable narrator, I'm going to take anything he says seriously. And he's talking directly to us. He's lying to our face. Like, how many characters lie to your face in such an extreme way? Usually, at least they're lying to some other character's face, not to our face. They're not talking directly to us and lying. Yeah, I don't know. She seemed cool. We don't get enough of her. I think that's probably the main thing about Blind Owl.
Yeah, next movie we want more Blind Owl.
Yeah,
give us more Blind Owl.
Just she could be a superhero.
And of course, I did my part by doing no research. I'm wondering if the actress who played her is actually blind. I mean, she wore sunglasses all the time. But,
Knowing this, everything
us blind folks can do that.
Yeah, knowing everything we've done so far, though, I'm always like, probably not. But that's a good question. I mean, I can just look really quick.
I can look, yeah, because I'm very curious. Because if she isn't, she did a real good job. No, I believe she's sighted. Yes.
Yeah, I figured.
She's sighted.
I mean, gosh, wow, what if they had actually cast a blind actor for...
I know, wouldn't that be cool?
It's never gonna happen. It never happens.
She's done a lot on Star Trek, though. That's cool.
Oh, okay. I mean, it's a good performance. But yeah, it's it's always sad to cast sighted actors as blind characters, but it's not a bad performance. It's just
no, she's funny. Yeah,
and
I like.
Ryan Reynolds has a face that's very movie star face too, so it's kind of doubly problematic.
Not gonna lie. As a blind person watching this movie, I wanted to touch his face so bad. Not Ryan Reynolds' normal face. I wanted to touch Wade's face because I'm just like, I'm so curious to just how it feels.
I love how you are the one bringing the face touching to this movie that didn't even have it.
No, it didn't.
That's a record, I think.
There was no scene where Vanessa touches his face and it's
Blind
it's okay.
Al touches his face.
Or Blind Al touches his face. Yeah. So
but
I want to touch his face. I want to touch his face.
Yeah.
There's no like sexual thrill behind it or whatever. I'm curious. I want to know what his face feels like. Although I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't very proud of it, but when TJ Miller tells him that he looks like a testicle with teeth, I got a laugh out of me. I hate TJ Miller, but
fuck TJ Miller.
It's just not a nice human being. Unfortunately though, he plays a real good smarmy bar owner.
Yeah, that really bummed me out too, because I was like, this character is too much to do to be played by TJ Miller. I was like, I could have liked this character, but I just don't like him so much as a person. And
right. I'm just like, oh,
yeah,
this is not good. I feel weird, but this was back when like TJ Miller was a thing.
Yeah, this is before he got hella canceled.
Oh man. So canceled. I don't know if he'll ever work again, to be honest. But whatever. That's not right.
Yeah, it's just the way the cookie crumbles, I guess, or something. I don't know. What would Deadpool say about that?
Oh boy.
He'd have something to say.
Really, really gross. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out exactly what I don't have like super hot of a take about Deadpool. I think it's just mostly that I don't it's like, I don't know. I think it's just kind of like a kind of humor that's not specific, like it just doesn't really fit my pleasure centers just right enough to like totally I just don't fully get the humor. But it's weird because it's like I'm close to it, but I'm just not. It's not so far from things I find funny that it's offensive or whatever, or just like I don't get it at all. But it's just like slightly to the side of what I find funny. So I'm just kind of like a little bit always like, okay, yeah, that's Deadpool.
Right. I mean, I would say watch the second one, but there's a major thing that happens in like the first 5 minutes of the second movie that I think would really make you upset and not want to watch the rest of it. Spoilers for Deadpool 2 if y'all haven't seen it. They fridge Vanessa, basically.
Oh my gosh. Wait, so does she not come back at all in the movie or not till the end?
Not till the end.
Oh my gosh, why? Why don't they make her like, why can't we watch a movie about her?
I know. I mean, I love Marina Baccarin.
She's just a more
And,
compelling
yeah.
character than Deadpool. I'm just more interested in her. She's just a more interesting character.
Well, I mean, they fridge her in the second movie by basically killing her off
But then she comes back.
because time travel.
Of course. Okay, well, we're ending the Deadpool 2 spoilers here, but
Okay, no more.
but yeah, I mean, maybe we'll watch it at some point if there is more Blind Owl in the second one. But yeah, I mean, I like a fourth wall joke, but I don't want my characters to know they're in a movie. I like fourth wall jokes that are a little bit more subtle than that, I think. I'm just like, yeah, I know you're in a... I don't know. I'm just like, I guess I already know you're in a movie. Like, you saying it is not... I don't need that. I'm aware you're in a movie.
I don't mind being hit over the head with a sledgehammer in a fourth wall break. Like, I like all that weird meta humor. I think it's funny when done well. I mean, I don't want an entire, every single joke in Deadpool is a fourth wall break. It's not. Like there's more types of jokes in there. But I mean, I giggled when they flash back to him meeting Blind Owl in the laundromat and he looks at the camera and is like, this is a fourth wall break within a fourth wall break. That's like 16 wall breaks. I mean, that's funny. I can't help it. I find that stuff funny. And for me, it's just listening to Ryan Reynolds deliver the lines is funny because I think he's just knows exactly what type of spin to put on all these lines. And it's cool to hear him do it and watch him work, basically.
Yeah, I think it's like it's one of those things where I can tell it's a good performance, but yeah, like it's just like because it isn't enough my humor. I'm just kind of like a little meh on it, but then I'm also like, I know this is a good performance, like, and I know that it's my own thing that's holding me up from, what I mean?
Well, and Deadpool is definitely not for everybody, and I'm not even a super fan. I mean, he makes me laugh. I'm glad he exists, but it doesn't have to be everybody's special unicorn.
Yeah.
Cup of tea. Yeah.
Well, we should make there should be a whole bunch of like bi male superheroes. That's what I take on this. So if Deadpool's not your cup of tea, you could have more other ones. Or that'd be nice.
No, yeah, that made me smile when I found that out. I can't remember who told me that or where I heard it, but I was just like, oh yeah, that actually, I don't know, that just makes sense for him. For his character.
Yeah, well, because it's in the movie, but it just like they never really say it, and so I'm always confused. I'm like they just it's weird. They like kind of say a bunch of stuff that's like make it obvious that he's a bi character, but then they don't ever really, but then he just has one romantic interest, so they don't really like go into it any more specific. Right. So it's like one of those weird things where you're like you could theoretically just miss it, like it's not like it could, all of the things could go over your head. There's not anything like super specific enough, and like, granted, I don't know, writing by characters I think is really important, but it's already a weird thing of like, you I think can get stuck in like just being one thing or the other, and like, I don't know, it would be kind of fun to see more characters that was a bigger part of their character identity, and then it wasn't just kind of like, nudged out without actually ever being a super specific thing in the movie. It really is. You could like, was it that you saw the movie and you didn't realize that?
I knew he was bi
before the movie. Actually,
well, the first time I watched it, I didn't know, and then I think afterwards I heard someone talking, because it might have been right before Deadpool 2. Like, people are talking about Deadpool, and there's a bunch of YouTube videos, get to know Deadpool, blah blah blah, and I think that's where I heard it.
Oh, okay. Wow. So you did watch the movie and didn't realize it. So it's not just that it could happen; it did happen for you.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm correct that you can miss it, apparently.
completely sailed right over my head.
Though I will find all like bi male characters very tuned into that. So it's like the blind characters that I'm always like, I know those are like two things. I'll just know every single, even the smallest hint. I'm like, oh, this blind bi male character. Yeah. There's not. I mean, they're pretty infrequently done. Like those are not common characters that you see all the time. So, I appreciate when you do see it. But
Yeah.
But this movie had both. It's just like you blink and you miss them. But they were they were both in it.
That's
so
true.
There you go.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't know. Do we have other things about the movie we'd like to talk about? We didn't really get into the plot, but like,
I know. It was like we talked about everything else except for the plot of the movie. I mean, the plot though is like just it's an origin story.
Yeah,
it's an origin story and a flashback, and usually that would almost the whole movie is told in flashback, and usually that would annoy me, but it works here because that's the kind of character that Deadpool is, and that's how he would tell a story.
Yeah, it kind of like jumps around. It doesn't even feel so much like, yeah, you forget. I mean, he keeps breaking the fourth wall anyway, so the fact that it jumps around you don't even notice really.
Right. I enjoyed Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
Yeah, I love Megasonic Teenage Warhead the best.
Yes, she's great. Yeah, she's amazing.
Low rent X-Men characters.
Low rent X-Men. I love the quip he makes when he goes to the mansion. He's like, "How come I come here and there's only 2 of you ever here in this huge house? Oh, I guess the studio couldn't afford more X-Men."
I mean, that was probably the fourth wall joke I liked the most, because it was like only slightly like out of the movie, it was like mostly a fourth wall joke that was within the like the world of the movie. And those are the ones I like, where they're only dipping their toe into the other side of the fourth wall instead of like hammering you with the fact that they're in a movie. But yeah, also I guess I like the things that are like making fun of Hollywood and things, and jokes about the budget of something, because I'm always thinking that, so it's kind of funny when
exactly.
character is also
when I heard that joke again, I was like, I bet you Sky will laugh at that.
Yeah, that's literally it's funny because it's not only what I laugh at, it's the only joke that I remembered from the movie. It was the only joke. Because I remember like, oh, that one was funny. That was it. I didn't remember a single other joke in the whole movie. I like really didn't. I didn't even remember any of the blind owl jokes. I remember she was in it, but I didn't remember any of the jokes she makes at all. I literally just remembered that one joke about the X-Men.
Well, I mean, how can you not forget like him and Blind Owl sitting on the couch having their like little tete-a-tete, and then he's got the baby hand.
Yeah. It's so disturbing.
Disturbing. It's very disturbing.
Yeah, I think I purposefully blocked that one out of my memory.
Oh my god. Yeah,
I'm not even going to play it on the podcast. It's streaming on Hulu. If you haven't seen Deadpool, you can always see it.
Yes, it's very easy to find.
Yeah, I feel like Deadpool's just one of those movies where, I don't know, it's worth just seeing it to have some sort of opinion on it. I mean, like, it's not that I think everyone in the world should see it, but it just feels like something that, first of all, I think it just feels like a lot of people have, and also, I don't know, it's just like some cultural reference to have.
I enjoy it. I enjoy them. And then I kind of sort of go away from them for a while, and then I watch them again, or watch them for this podcast or something, and I realize, oh yeah, these are actually really funny, and I have a really good time. I like that they don't take themselves too seriously, and yet the things with Vanessa and those are played completely straight, and you buy them. I mean, you buy that they are super, deeply in love with each other. And especially when he's stalking her, after he escapes. And
not very cool.
No, not very cool at all. I'm not condoning stalking, but you can feel like the longing,
Yeah,
between them.
I mean, he could have just like not abandoned her, but whatever, it's fine.
Right. He could have done the grown up thing. I know, totally,
whatever.
totally.
It's not Deadpool's vibes.
Every single punch in the face that she gave him, he absolutely deserved.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like we're kind of encroaching upon our blindness acuity test here.
Oh, definitely.
If we want to end out. Do you want to go first?
Sure, absolutely. Well, in honor of the new year, and just for funsies, I'm giving this movie a solid 2021.
Nice.
No reason whatsoever. I would have given it a 2020, but I thought it would be more fun to give it a 2021. You know what? It's great. it's fucking Deadpool. What more can I say? This character just brings me joy. I'm never not smiling. The movie started and I found myself just grinning like an idiot pretty much through the entire movie. Yeah. So I very much I very much enjoy these movies. I like the actors, except for with one exception. But I like the actors. I like the chemistry that they have. I like the performances.
Yeah.
And they're just a really fun distraction.
Nice, but the blindness is not really enough to give it any more than a 2021.
Oh no! I love the fact that Blind Al is blind, like her character is blind, and I love the relationship that she and Wade have. But it gets a 2021 because it's Deadpool.
That's great. I mean, last week I had a 2020 to end out the year, and you're starting out the year with a 2021. It's very perfect and symmetrical.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a higher rating though. I'm gonna give it a 2030.
Okay.
I'm not going like that much higher, but there's a blind character that is not pining, unlike Beastly. She doesn't get her eyesight back. Like she's pretty
right.
She's a pretty like legit, even though we barely get to see her and I wish she was in more of the movie. She's a legit blind character. Like you feel that she could be a real, like she feels like a real person that I know, or like not that I know a specific person that's like her, but she just feels like someone I would know that's like one of my blind friends. Like she doesn't feel like totally made up by sighted people. They don't, she feels like a plot device, or not really a plot device, but she feels almost like a weird trope just because there's something, quote unquote wrong with his face, and that's like, and then all of a sudden she appears, and so it feels very tied to that specific trope. So there's that, and then there's also like the fact that she's barely in the movie is another thing. So I'm not gonna give it much of higher, but it probably could be a lot higher if we had a whole movie about her. But yeah, so I think as a character she actually is better than we've had. A lot of other minor blind characters have definitely been a lot more problematic than she is. So
yeah. No, I really like Blind Al.
Yeah,
like, hey, that's so cool in this crazy superhero movie to have blind representation. That's really cool.
And like a very snarky just says whatever's on their mind character feels like, yeah, we could be in a movie like that.
Who likes Craigslist and IKEA furniture.
Yeah. It makes perfect sense. It feels weirdly, some of the stuff with her does feel weirdly real, like a real person in a movie that is so not real. Like not a moment of it is real. She's almost the most real thing in it.
Yes. When Deadpool tells her as he's leaving to go fight the bad guy, he's like, yeah, I had however many tons of cocaine it was, and the cure for blindness in this apartment.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. What a weird, and oh my god, it is kind of like beastly that he just assumes that she's looking for that. I forgot. I wanted to talk about that, but I totally forgot. So thanks for bringing that
And
up.
I mean, she's not though. She doesn't care.
Yeah, she doesn't care. It's always the fucking like sighted characters that project that onto. Well, because it's funny in Beastly and this, you have like a sighted character that is like so upset by their own, new like facial deformity, and that they're projecting all this stuff onto a character that's been blind for a very long time and like seems totally fine about it and does not care that they're blind. But you're like, yeah, but all disabled people don't want to be disabled. It's like, come on, guys. Oh, but anyway, that's Deadpool. Maybe we'll watch Deadpool 2 at some point. So it's a cliffhanger ending.
Yeah.
You'll have to keep tuning in every week to find out if we ever do Deadpool 2.
Will we ever do it?
Yeah. And then we'll talk to the screen. I don't know. I'm running out of Deadpool references.
You're trying.
I mean, we know we're in a podcast. That's generally how podcasts work. So there's not really that many jokes we could do. But anyway. So we've decided, even though we both kind of picked Deadpool as a team effort, that I'll go next. I have picked a short film from a made-for-TV movie from 1973 called Beg, Borrow, or Steal. It is about three people with different disabilities, one of them being blindness, who rob they do some sort of heist. I'm saying this now, I'm trying to remember what kind of heist. They do a museum heist. Okay, that's what I thought it was, but it's just kind of a funny, I'm assuming the museum has like precious gems, but we'll find out. So tune in for that.
This can only end well.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna work really awesome, and everyone's gonna be happy, but we'll have to find out. So tune in next week for that. And the only thing left to do is our blind asides.
Right.
What are you bringing today, Melissa?
So I'm bringing a blind aside. I've been really thinking about it though, and I don't know if I'm necessarily recommending it.
Oh, interesting.
But I'm gonna throw it out there anyway, even though it's not obscure like this. Everybody knows this thing is happening. So I'm bringing Wonder Woman 1984.
Okay.
To the table, because superhero movies and stuff. It is available to stream on HBO Max if you have that, or make a friend or something. And I'm sure they have it. This movie is. Boy, oh boy, this movie is too long. It's not paced very well at all. There's too much going on in it, and yet there's not enough going on because it is slow. However, all of that being said, the first 20 minutes are so much fun. And Pedro Pascal as the villain, as Maxwell Lord, is so over the top and just the best. Chris Pine is really funny. Kristen Wiig as Cheetah is really great. Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman is really awesome. I mean, the actors are still so great, and they still have amazing chemistry. And there are definitely moments in this movie where I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. Unfortunately, none of the highs of the first Wonder Woman movie, but you know what? I watched it, and if this sounds like something that you might be interested in, I would say give it a watch. If not, I totally understand. I wish it was better. I really wish it was better. I feel, I wish I could recommend it with more of like a let's go, like the first one, but it's just not. It works, but it's barely. I don't know. I don't want to go into too much in depth because we're not talking about this movie, but Yeah, I don't know. Watch at your own risk, I guess.
I love your
So-
blind aside is very it's almost a cautionary tale. It's like you're kind of recommending what you want it to be, but not what it is.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm doing. Yeah. Speaking of superhero movies, yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. You know what? Okay, fuck it. Here's one. The second season of The Mandalorian slaps. Go watch the second season of The Mandalorian. It's fucking brilliant. Even my mom liked it. She just gave it the most amazing praise. She said, and I quote, "Oh my God, that was so good." So go watch The Mandalorian.
Baby Yoda. There's a lot of.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and I can say this now because we know it. It's not quite a spoiler now because it's been out a while. He has a name. His name is Grogu.
Okay. Oh, but then that's disappointing that his name is not Baby Yoda.
I know, but his name is Grogu.
Well,
so yeah,
he'll be Baby Yoda in all our hearts forever.
Yes. Forget everything I just said and go watch The Mandalorian. Find a friend with a Disney Plus account and go watch The Mandalorian. Merry Christmas.
Okay.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, make sure to have friends with streaming platforms or have them yourself because that's really the main takeaway as well. Well, I love it. It's you know what, we've been in quarantine for 9 months, whatever. It's media, we don't get to choose it. It's just happening to us. My pick is very, and this is good, we're kind of, in a way, switching places because I usually recommend things that I then talk shit about. Whereas I'm picking a game today. Though it is not a video game, it's a board game. But it is
nice.
Christmas just recently happened. When you hear this, a little less recently than when we're recording it, but still recently happened. And one of the games that actually my partner and I had gotten for my family, but also got another version because he really enjoys playing it for us to play, and so we just played it for the first time a couple nights ago. It's called Codenames, and have you played it before?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It's really fun. It's like it is not 100% blind accessible from the top, but there is a way that you can basically play both sides because there's two different sides. You're either playing someone who's coming up with word related hints or someone who's needing to figure them out, and you can kind of work it so both sides you can find accessible ways without doing too much work. So it was kind of cool to get to have mostly an accessible game, and you're basically just one person is the spy master, and so they will say a hint. There's 25 words on the table, and then they say a hint that's just a one word thing or proper noun, and then you say a number after it. So you would say bank 3, and then if there's cards that are money, check or something pen, I don't know, something that you've decided you might be able to get someone to think are all related to a bank, then you then the other player points to the 3 things they think go into that category of the 25 words, and then you kind of keep going like that. And there's obviously more to the game than that, but that's it's mainly about doing creative categorizing of a bunch of nouns that don't necessarily have anything to do with each other, but figuring out what how you can kind of group nouns in these unique ways that make sense to you. So it's it's
really cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it's very it's so word based. It feels pretty accessible for even though there's some reading involved, it's still just one word things, and the text is pretty big, and so it's a really fun game, and it's it seems sort of confusing, but you can catch on to it really fast how it's played. So that's the game Codenames. There's a few different versions out there right now. there's like one that's more for like 2 players. There's like a cooperative game, but you can also play with teams. But it's it was just my partner and I who were playing it. So like if you're just quarantined with like very small number of people, you can still play it with just like 2 people. So yeah.
I love it, and I believe there is also a Marvel superhero version of that game too.
Really? Of course there's.
Yeah,
that's so funny.
Marvel code names or something. Yeah,
and it's just all super. Well, we did have one of the times superhero was one of the words, except for
nice.
It was not the word that we were trying to guess, so I didn't get to do any superhero related clues, but it was one of the words. So code names. There's find the version that fits you, but yeah, it's a pretty fun, not super blind and accessible game. So awesome. I think we did another episode, Melissa.
I love it. We did it. Yeah, you're right, Sky. We did it.
Yeah, I'm so proud of us. I feel like we keep finishing episodes, and it's like very cool. Okay, our theme song is by Lucia Fasano. Our YouTube is Citizen White Cane Podcast. Our Twitter is White Cane Pod. Both our Instagram and Facebook are just Citizen White Cane, and our email address is citizenwhitecanepod@gmail.com. If you'd like to leave us a voice message, there's a link in the show notes. What is the Deadpool joke that you remembered after watching the movie?
If your genes were forced to mutate, what superpower do you think you'd have?
Ooh. And what is your least favorite thing about Roombas?
Very important.
Very important. You can tell us about any of those, or just a movie you think we should watch, or just how cool we are. There's a link in the show notes. You could also tell us how cool we are in a review, or rating the podcast and subscribing to the podcast, telling your friends about the podcast, telling your blind roommate about the podcast, telling your local Deadpool cosplayer, aficionado or cosplayer, tell them about the podcast.
Or if you just want to tell us how much we don't know about superheroes.
Just I don't know. Don't be nice to.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe if at least be a woman or something telling us, because dudes, it's just that's some bullshit. So any of those things, we're here. And tune in next week. We'll find out what kind of museum Beg, Borrow, or Steal. Wait, that's the name of it, right? It's Or Steal?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay,
you got it. Mm-hmm.
We'll find out in Beg, Borrow, or Steal what kind of museum they're. I hope it's like a natural history museum, or maybe like.
Oh yeah, and they're trying to steal like a dinosaur tooth or something.
Yes, hopefully that's a movie. Very unlikely, but tune in next week to find out. We'll see you then. Bye.
Bye.
Citizen White Cane.
Upside of being blind, I've never seen you in Crocs.
You mean my big rubber masturbating shoes?
Yes, I know. Downside of being blind, I hear everything in this duplex.